In a wide skillet over medium heat, whisk together 19 ounces or around 2 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, 60 grams or around a half cup of the powdered sugar substitute of your choice. I prefer powdered monk fruit allulose blend. Add 1/4 cup of butter. Whisk everything together until it's fully combined and the butter completely melts. Bring the mixture to a low boil. Make sure as it's coming to a low boil that you stir it very frequently. You don't want the mixture to bubble over or to scorch on the bottom. Reduce the heat to medium-low, then simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, stirring frequently until the milk has thickened and reduced in volume by about 50%. So by the time it's done simmering and getting thick, you're going to have half as much liquid as you had to begin with. Once you have a nice thick mixture, remove it from the heat and stir in 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then allow the condensed milk to cool in the pan for about 10 to 15 minutes or until it comes to room temperature. It will continue to thicken as it cools. After the milk has come to room temperature, pour the condensed milk into a mason jar or an airtight container and allow it to cool completely before you put the lid on it. You do not want this to be warm when you seal it or it's going to get a little bit of a funky texture, so make sure that it cools completely. Once the condensed milk is completely cooled, you can use it immediately or seal it tightly in an airtight container and store it in the refrigerator for up to 1 week. Now, sometimes, depending on your refrigerator and what you've stored your condensed milk in, it can solidify a little bit when it's refrigerated because it does have butter in it, so it can solidify just a little bit. If that does happen, just run your jar or your container, whatever container you stored it in, run it under hot water. And if it still hasn't liquefied completely, then you can just pop it in the microwave or in a pan on your oven and just heat it about 10 seconds or so, just until it becomes liquid again, and then just whisk it until it's completely smooth. Pour 240 milliliters or around 1 cup of the keto milk of your choice into a medium saucepan over medium heat. Of course, my favorite keto milk is always coconut milk. Bring the milk to a low boil over medium heat. Add 50 grams or around 1/4 cup of the granulated sugar substitute of your choice. I like to use granulated monk fruit allulose blend in this particular recipe. Monk fruit sweetener that's made with erythritol can have a little bit of an aftertaste in liquid recipes. It also crystallizes quicker. So when you use the granulated monk fruit allulose blend, you eliminate the aftertaste and you generally have a smoother texture. But any sugar substitute does work. Whisk the milk and the sweetener together for about 1 minute or until it's fully dissolved. Make sure that the sweetener is completely dissolved. Gradually whisk in 125 grams or around 1 cup of the milk powder of your choice. My favorite is coconut milk powder. Once the milk powder is fully added, then whisk constantly for about 1 to 2 minutes or until the milk powder is fully and completely dissolved. Add 1/4 cup of butter and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Stir everything together until it's combined and continue to stir constantly for 1 to 2 minutes or until the butter is completely melted and the mixture begins forming small bubbles in the pan. Do not bring this to a full boil. You do not want it to have a scorched taste to it, so do not bring it to a full boil just until you start seeing a little bit of bubbles. Once the mixture is heated, remove it from the heat. Then place a mesh strainer over a bowl and pour the milk mixture through the strainer to remove any lumps. If you need to, you can use a spoon and just kind of stir the mixture around because it will be a little bit thick. So you want to make sure that the milk gets through the strainer but not the lumps. Once the milk is strained, then let it cool for about 30 minutes or until it reaches room temperature and has thickened. Once the milk is thick, you can use it immediately, or you can pour it into a jar or an airtight container, seal it tightly, and store it in your refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. If you do store this for more than 24 hours, then make sure every day you are using a fork and stirring the milk up so you can avoid it separating or avoid crystals forming. In a blender, combine 125 grams or around 1 cup of the powdered milk of your choice. My favorite keto one is powdered coconut milk. 133 grams or around 2/3 cup of the granulated sugar substitute of your choice. I like to use a mix of granulated monk fruit sweetener and allulose in this recipe. 118 milliliters or around a half cup of boiling water. Make sure it is fully boiling. And 1/4 cup of melted butter. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Blend on low for 1 minute or until the mixture is smooth, thick, and slightly sticky. Pour it into an airtight container and allow it to cool to room temperature. Store it in your refrigerator for up to 1 week and use it in any recipe that requires sweetened condensed milk. If this thickens after it cools, stir it a little bit, and if needed, microwave on high for 10 to 15 seconds or until the mixture is smooth and pourable. If needed, you can add very small amounts of hot water until the mixture is smooth and able to be poured. You can use this immediately or seal it tightly and store it in your refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. And just like the other one, if you store it in your refrigerator for more than a day, then use a fork and stir the milk at least once a day to prevent it from separating or crystallizing. Now, out of these methods, the first one, the traditional one, that'll give you the taste and texture that is the closest to traditional sweetened condensed milk. My personal favorite that I use the most is the no-cook method, only because I am impatient and I don't like waiting, or I just don't have the time to wait 15 to 20 minutes for the traditional one to cook. So the no-cook is my personal favorite. That's the one I use like all the time. But any one of these versions of sweetened condensed milk will work in any recipe that requires sweetened condensed milk. I have used these in my ice cream recipes. I have used these in candy recipes. I have used these in baking. I have used these in caramel sauce. I've used them in anything, pretty much anything and everything. If it requires traditional sweetened condensed milk, you can use either one of these substitutes and they will work. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more recipes like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.